Originally settled in 1836, but not officially proclaimed as a town until October the 10th, 1838, the city has had no less than 25 hardtop theatres, including those which were renamed during their lifetime. Many of these screen films, as well as hosting live performances, and in addition, there were 2 drive-in theatres. Firstly, a quick summary of all known theatres. The first recorded theatrical performance in Geelong took place on the 5th of October 1843 in a Coria Street building, then known as the Albert Theatre. This photo shows the souvenir program printed on silk and edged with lace. Dated 19th of December 1844, it gave details of what was the second public performance given in this theatre. On the 16th of December 1847, Geelong's first real theatre, the Victoria Theatre, opened on the south side of Ryrie Street, west of Moorabool Street, as part of the Australian Inn. It was reputed to be the first brick building in Geelong. Eventually it failed and was converted into shops. This is thought to be the site at around 116 Ryrie Street. The Theatre Royal was located in Mallet Street, where the current office works stands. It finally closed down in 1899 and was later leased by the Salvation Army for their Geelong Citadel, before building their own headquarters further to the east and on the north side of Mallet Street. The building was demolished to make way for a supermarket, then was later converted to become the current Office Works. In 1856, the Mechanics' Institute was built in Ryrie Street. The concert hall was built behind this facade in 1857, and later, after a number of earlier arson attempts, the hall was badly damaged by fire at 3:15 a.m. on the 21st of June 1926. Rebuilding began soon after, and the hall was reopened as the Plaza Theatre in 1928, including a new frontage which replaced that shown in this photo. The Plaza Theatre, in turn, was refurbished in 1981 to become part of the Geelong Performing Arts Centre. GPAC is currently undergoing its second major upgrade. The Ryrie Street frontage has been completely demolished and a new structure has been erected in its place. Originally built as Geelong's exhibition building in Jacob Street in 1879, in 1881 it became the Exhibition Theatre. In the 1890s it became Her Majesty's Theatre, and when Queen Victoria died in 1901 it became His Majesty's Theatre. In 1908 the building was taken over by Julius Solomon for his drapery store and was renamed the Coliseum. It closed in 1936 and was used as Cowley City Garage until it was demolished in 1961 to allow the construction of Geelong's first multi-level car park. The car park itself was demolished in 1984 as part of the construction of the current Market Square shopping centre. The Pavilion in Little Mallet Street is seen in this slide. Some research indicates that it was an unregistered theatre and was closed shortly after a fire injured a number of people, including the projectionist as well as a number of passers-by in the street, when the projectionist threw burning film out of the window in an effort to prevent the spread of fire into the auditorium. The small building in the lower left of the picture is thought to have been the lolly shop for His Majesty's Theatre. The Joy Ark was built at the end of a jetty on the Geelong waterfront, roughly midway between Fisherman's Pier Restaurant and the Eastern Beach swimming baths. It operated as a picture theatre from its opening on the 21st of December 1912 until the 31st of July 1914, when the then owners were declared insolvent and the building was transformed into a dance hall. From the 5th of August 1918, the hall was converted into a skating rink, and for a brief period in November and December of 1917 was used for wool storage. Skating resumed on the 5th of August 1918, but by 11th of April the following year it was realised that the weight of wool stored there had caused the floor to subside, and so a rebuilt floor was installed. Skating continued until the 20th of September 1919, and from that time until March 22nd of 1920, the building lay empty, attracting vandalism. On 22nd of March 1920, the building was reopened for dancing as Palais de Jazz, lasting until February of 1923. In April of that year, it was announced that the Harbour Trust would take over the building, and on 9th of May 1925, the Harbour Trust advertised for tenders to buy the building. No further details could be found in the local newspapers, but it is assumed that demolition took place sometime between 9th of May and 7th of June of 1926, as there were newspaper reports that some of the building's steel girders were relocated to the top of Moorabool Street to be used in the construction of the new Palais Royal Dance Hall. Here's the Geelong Theatre in Ryrie Street, built in 1913. It later became the Village Twin in 1973 and then the Village 11 in 1995. The year is 1914 and the Sun Theatre, built in Ryrie Street, operated originally by the owners of the Joy Arc on Geelong's waterfront. It was sold to a Mr Birtles in March 1917 and he renamed it the Strand. At the moment it is currently serviced office building. The West Park Theatre was built in 1915 in Autumn Street, just west of Packington Street in Geelong West. Closed for refurbishment in 1936, it reopened on the 7th of March of that year, complete with new Western Electric sound equipment. It closed in 1961 to become an indoor table tennis centre and was demolished in 1979 to allow construction of a new bowling green for the Geelong West Bowls Club. Here's Geelong's Regent Theatre, built in Little Malop Street in 1920. It closed on the 13th of January 1965 as a cinema and is used for a retail shop for many years. Some of the internal toilets and mezzanine floor still exist. The year 1927 saw the Palais Royal in Moorabool Street being built. It's now a bingo centre. Some of the roof girders and timber posts from the Joy Arc were used as part of the Palais structure. During a recent inspection of the Palais foundations, evidence was found of barnacles on some of the subfloor poles, leading to the possibility that maybe some of the posts had at one time been in the sea. Built in 1938, the Cryer Theatre in Little Malop Street was demolished in 1984 to make way for Market Square Shopping Centre. In 1899, Slayton Hall was built in Russell Street, Chilwell, named after Sir Charles Sladen, a Chilwell resident. In 1945, it was structurally altered and refurbished to become the new Embassy Theatre. The name changed to the Astor in the late 1940s, but it was destroyed by fire on 17th of November 1957. Here we see the Pix Theatre in West Geelong, built in 1953 originally as a biscuit factory for its owner, Mr Rupert Barris Brownbill, better known as Bass. He later converted it to a cinema which he operated until his death in 1978. After passing through the hands of a number of subsequent owners, it was eventually taken over by Village, who operated it until 1995 as a stopgap measure while the Village Twin was closed for conversion into the Village 11. Village then closed it and took out a caveat preventing it from ever being used as a cinema again. It's now been converted to apartments. In 1955, the Pickles Belmont opened at Regent Street. It was operated in the St Bernard's Parish Hall by the owner of the Pix Theatre in West Geelong, Bass Brownbill. It was closed in 1959 and demolished. The site is now occupied by Aldi's supermarket car park. In the same year, the Star Drive-In Theatre opened in Station Street, Moolap, and at the time was Victoria's second drive-in, the first being located in Burwood. The Star closed and was demolished in 1984 after 29 years of operation. The land was sold for private residential development. Here is the small Thompson Theatre in Godfrey Street, East Geelong, built in 1956, and it's now a kindergarten. Built in 1964, Geelong's second drive-in, the Village Drive-In in Ballarat Road, Bellpost Hill, was built. It closed in 1994 after 30 years of operation, was demolished in that year, and the land was sold for private residential development. 2001 saw the building of Geelong's most recent multiplex, that was the Reading 8-screen cinema in the Warn Ponds Shopping Centre to the south of Geelong. In 2014, the Pivotonian Cinema opened in Geelong West, and it moved it to these premises we see here in the former Cherries Bakery building in South Geelong in 2016. To give some idea of where the main CBD theatres were located, here is an aerial photograph taken in the late 1920s. It shows the Geelong Theatre in Ryrie Street, the Regent Theatre in Little Malop, the Crier Theatre in Little Malop, and His Majesty's Theatre in Jacob Street. The Plaza Theatre was in Ryrie Street, a full block and a half to the west, off to the right of this picture.